Trapped by the belief that I'm not good enough, bound by the limitations and the lies that consumed my world, this was me. It wasn't until I took the biggest leap in my life to know and trust the power within. And it was at that moment I made a choice. My past will not define me anymore. Hello, I am Teri, and I know I am not alone in this. Over the years, I have found that the number one mistake that we make is that we get in the way of our own success story. Yes, I said it. On this show, together we'll tackle limiting beliefs, self-sabotage, getting stuck, fear, doubt, overwhelm, and the imposter syndrome. Join us on this journey designed to transport you beyond your limitations to a world where anything is possible. This is Talking with Teri. Hi, and welcome back to Talking with Teri, where we have powerful conversations to transform your life and your business. And today's guest is Dr. John Jaquish, PhD, inventor of the most effective bone density building medical device, which has reversed osteoporosis for thousands and created more powerful fracture resistance athletes. I needed him years ago when I shattered everything in my leg, but John is now partnered with Tony Robbins and OsteoStrong for rapid clinical deployment. He is a research professor at Rushmore University, speaks at scientific conferences all over the world, and has been featured on many of the top health podcasts, as an editor of the multiple medical journals, and is a nominee of the National Medal of Science. So welcome, Dr. Jaquish.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I'm excited to hear about your journey and, and really, just hearing how you got to be where you're at today. So give the listeners a little, back story of how you became to where you're at today.
Sure. My mother was diagnosed with osteoporosis about 13 years ago. It took me a couple years to really figure out what to do, but I decided I was going to build a device that would increase bone density I first looked at the outliers, like who has the highest bone density, and it turned out I found the group of people. It was gymnasts, and it had to do with the rate at which they hit the ground. So,
wow,
yeah. So these gymnasts, they needed this high impact that built their bone density, but they were also the most likely to injure because of the impact, which is why people are told, low impact exercise is best. It's really lousy advice, but it's also there for a reason. And one of the worst recommendations in medicine is a recommendation without a dosage, right? So, if you take aspirin is good for headaches. Well, how much? 5 milligrams or 5,000? Well, 5,000 will kill you and 5 will do nothing. But 350 is just right. So I frequently, look at that recommendation, like resistance exercise or walking is good for osteoporosis. Walking will do nothing for your bone health. Great for circulation, but there was a study in 2012 out of Bristol, United Kingdom, and it determined that the minimum dose response of force through the hip joint, that's the joint that counts, by the way. You can break your clavicle, you can compromise your quality of life, but if you break your hip, you got a 50% chance of death due to complications if you're over the age of 50.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's serious. And so they determined to affect the bone at all, you needed to exceed 4.2 multiples of your own body weight. Now, anyone who says, well, I go to the gym, I don't have to worry about bone health, they're wrong, because they're not lifting 4.2 multiples of body weight.
Yeah.
They're not even getting close to that. So the only place we can really get it is through high impact, which is dangerous, or a controlled environment, which is what we find in OsteoStrong. And by the way, it's hundreds of thousands of people have been treated, not thousands.
Okay.
But you might have found like an old block of text that back when it was thousands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Because it's always getting bigger. So, I developed that device first to treat my mother's osteoporosis, reversed that, then 400 other people, which were subject of a book that I wrote. And the data was used in a couple of different small publications and abstracts that I presented at different world congresses of medicine, and then much larger trial that was done in London.
Wow. So
Yeah.
I found this, I find this very powerful. I mean, here you see a need to help up, your mom to, reverse osteoporosis for her. And so what was that journey like for you I mean, I know that you're a researcher, and so that sounds like kind of a natural piece for you to go research, like what is the missing link. But then you create a device which
Mhm.
you've gone into the place of intervention. And I mean, that is, I'm certain you were faced with a lot of challenges, possibly challenges through that process.
Mhm.
What was that process like for you to go through that, to create something from nothing?
That's not easy. I mean, I know you want a more elaborate answer.
Yeah.
I'll give you one. You have to have an idea of how you could address something. I actually think people are smarter than they give themselves credit for, but they're fearful.
Yeah.
They're fearful of failure. I think some people out there have ideas that they will never try out because they're afraid of being ridiculed. And even if you're right, like me, I was right. I was ridiculed for years. And
Mm,
then, so I forgot who said this, but it was somebody like some inventor or something like that. So you have a new idea. First, you're ridiculed, then you're violently opposed, and then you're accepted as if you were always there, or as if it's normal. So, like look at when the iPhone came out. It was
yeah.
like back then, the BlackBerry was king.
Yeah.
And we didn't have BlackBerry anymore. It's bankrupt, gone, billions of dollars gone. So why did, like, when it came out, it was like, how stupid, a phone with no buttons on it. Like,
Yeah.
you won't be able to type on that because you can't feel yourself type. They were wrong. But in the first 2 years the iPhone existed, it was subject to incredible ridicule.
Yeah.
And yeah, there were memes out there. It's like, look at this stupid piece of glass and a microchip that Apple came up with. It doesn't have a keyboard. Like, just, and then now it's like even phones that aren't iPhones are just kind of copies of iPhones.
Yeah.
So right, so that's what innovation looks like. And if you're afraid of that, then your idea will never see the light of day. That's your problem. So my advice is get over it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well,
Just
and
look
you're,
in the mirror and say, if I don't do this, I'll spend the rest of my life wondering what could have been.
yeah.
It'll eat your soul. So and since then I've invented even something that even a bigger company is driving a bigger company with the rapid muscular gain and conditioning product called x3bar.com. So I wasn't afraid of that one either. Even though it was in the fitness market. By the way, anyone that says it's difficult to sell an idea to physicians, they don't know the fitness industry. Because at least a physician can understand research.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fitness industry, the two popular places of information for fitness are Instagram and YouTube. Pictures and videos. These people can't even read. That's how dumb they are. Yeah, it's amazing. But I managed to have the fastest growing brand in fitness right now.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I mean,
Mostly,
you're considered as a disruptor. I mean, you are
yeah.
considered a disruptor. And I want to quote what I read about you as I was reading some information upon you. People have quoted you as the Elon Musk of the medical industry. and it continues to, you like,
I've never heard
oh,
that, but that's cool.
it's online. Yeah. But
Okay.
and how you've disrupted the fitness, not only the medical industry, but you've also
Yeah.
disrupted the fitness industry, is pretty powerful. And so what I hear from you, it was not easy, but
Hmm.
you made a choice. You made a choice. Either I'm going to do this or I'm not
Yeah.
going to do this. And then I'm not willing to allow this to eat my soul because I was,
Yeah.
too scared or, didn't believe enough in myself to make this come to fruition.
Yeah. I think part of it is part of my method is I burn the bridges behind me. Like there's no going back.
Perfect. Okay.
Like I
That's
don't
an
go
interesting,
backwards.
I love
Like
that.
like when
I
I'm
love that
coming out with
different, that's a different
when I'm coming
perspective of
out with
burning the
something,
bridges,
sure.
right? Yeah. I love it.
Right, right. It has nothing to do with relationships. It has to do with
Yeah.
going backwards. And I'm not going backwards. One of the things I'll do is both books I wrote. When they were about halfway done, I started bragging to everybody when they would come out and how they're going to change the world. And like take every fitness book you own and just throw it in the trash right now, because in 6 months you're going to have the only thing you'll ever need to read. And I told all my friends that, all my fans that. For the last one, I didn't really have any fans before I wrote the first one. I had a lot of friends though, and they were like, "Wow, like you sure you want to say all this shit? Because now you have to actually do it." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's exactly why I'm saying it. Because if
Yeah.
I tell everybody I'm going to do something, I have to do it. Otherwise, I've embarrassed myself."
That's powerful.
That's
I
that's
mean,
that's what I mean by burning the bridges. Like I
yeah.
can't go back now.
That's powerful. So burning the bridges,
Yeah,
not looking back to where you were at, but it's like, okay, I'm full speed ahead. I am here to the next. And as you
yeah,
have grown and expanded, you've taken something, from nothing to something. Now taking that,
yeah,
something, even like an ordinary diagnosis, right, from osteoporosis to something and creating something pretty phenomenal and extraordinary,
mhm,
to treat it. I mean, it is a game changer, in the industries. And
yeah.
what a powerful message. Like so many nuggets that you've already shared, that listeners can take away with what would you share with listeners that are in that place of, fear and questioning themselves what that next step looks like, and just allowing themselves to move past that, because I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs that listens to the show, you know, our mindset and everything, gets exposed to us whenever we're taking on those big leaps of faith, if you will. And so that's just, I think part of human nature for that information, for that stuff to come up for us.
Yeah. What I would say is break it down into small steps. I mean, it's like writing a book. You don't just sit down with a clean sheet of paper and start with chapter one. Like you outline it, and then all those bullet points in the outline, you put an outline under them, and all those bullet points, you put an outline under them, and now you've got like the beginning of each paragraph, and you just start filling it in wherever you feel like jumping in, and you build a little section, you build a little section, and two things that connect. Maybe you work on those two in different chapters and reference each other, and so you can break it down to smaller tasks, especially the mechanical ones. Like, I'm gonna launch a product. Okay, do the market analysis to see if there's anything not that's similar, but anything that does the thing that I say my product does. You can have transportation with an automobile, you can have transportation with a bicycle,
Yeah.
but they're not the same. So yeah, you got to look at direct and indirect competition. There's all kinds of little stuff. And as you go through it, your confidence in what you're trying to do will either go up, or you'll talk yourself into not going forward because it's just there's no opportunity. Like being right and being rich are not that's not the same thing either. So
Right.
like you can be right and come up with the most expensive product in the market, nobody buys it. It doesn't mean it's not good. It just means nobody's buying it. So why build it? There's different ways to handle that, and there's like customer objections. Like I have the cheapest, like the body composition, the thing that grows muscle very fast and drops body fat very fast. It's $550. It's a full home gym. It'll give you more resistance. In fact, the heaviest banding unit that links into this aluminum and metal product is 600 pounds. Most NFL players can't even use the heaviest part of the device. So it's not a crappy little plastic typical home fitness gimmick, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper than home gym. Because some people get like gym equipment, and not only do they lose their garage or a room in their house, but it's not really that effective because it's kind of built lightweight and whatever. And those things are thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So even though I have the cheapest home and most effective gym, I mean, forget about home gym, still I get people whining about the price. And so you also have to know, like half the people that contact us just kicking and screaming like 2-year-olds about the price of the product. It's like, I'm not holding a gun to your head to buy it. Get lost.
So, yeah. And next,
you gotta have a healthy
attitude. You're here to help. You're here to be to support and help those that you're here to support and help, and the other ones are next.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? So I know that you are collaborating with Tony Robbins. What does that collaboration and partnership look like?
Well, he works on a lot of the marketing of OsteoStrong.
Okay.
And now that he's been a user for so long, he doesn't really have any questions. So we don't talk as much as we did. But he's an interesting guy to work with.
So, so he's helping promote the piece of it. Okay, perfect.
Right.
Awesome. Yeah. Which is where you can have a ripple effect, especially, Tony Robbins, and I know that he is all about health and fitness and, on multiple levels. And so what a great spokesperson, that you have for the company. That's pretty profound. Yeah. That's pretty amazing. What's next for you? What's next on your plate?
Next for me, I have a few more things I'm working on. Yeah.
Other inventions or other projects or
other inventions?
Can you share?
No.
Okay, so we are going to have to follow Dr. Jaquish to make sure that we are in the know.
Honestly, follow me. Yeah, I'll tell you how to follow me on Instagram. When we're done. But like some of them are accessories. Like I came out with a supplement that's the world's most efficient protein. 4 calories, you get the equivalent of like a half a pound of steak in 4 calories. Wow. Yeah, and it's vegan friendly. It's made out of bacterial fermentation. In fact, that's what I'm drinking right now.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm. So that was a project from last year, and we got a couple we're working on this year, and some of them will be accessories, some of them will be supplements, and there's one in there that's gonna absolutely change the world again.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I do need to set you up with a good friend of mine because I think there's some really powerful alignment with you and this other gentleman. So exciting. Cool. It's powerful. I love it. I so thank you for your time today and joining us. And, in order for us to be the game changers, in order for us to be the disruptors in our industry, we have to show up. We have to say yes to us, and we have to be willing to move beyond that fear that is so easily can hold us back. So thank you so much. So how can people find you and follow you and the work that you're doing?
So like yours, my last name is tough to remember and tough to spell right. So I have a landing page which has the links to my Instagram, YouTube, links to products, everything. And it's just drj.com. So DOCTOR, the letter J.com.
Perfect. Okay. And we'll put all that information down in the show notes because it is a little
Cool.
tricky last name, but we'll add those links. So check him out, follow him. And if that resonates with you, get the device, follow some of the leaders in the industry. And so thank you so much for your time today.
All right, Teri, thanks so much.
Thanks. I am so grateful that you joined me for this episode. If you've enjoyed this, then there's just one thing that I would like you to do. Click to subscribe and leave me a rating and review. As my way to thank you, let's connect for a free consultation. Just reach out to me at talkingwithteri, that's TERI.com, to book your time.